We're live.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
We have arrived. Here we are to save the day.
Or die trying, one of the two.
Or die trying. Hello, welcome to part 3 of 4 of Vaesen Odal. I have to shut the sound down on the Twitch stream so that
is helpful.
I'm not getting my echo. Thank you very much for joining us. We are currently in the midst. We stopped last time on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I'll tell you all about that here momentarily. But just to do a super brief recap before I have the players introduce themselves and their characters. The players have been hired by one Astrid Hellstrom to investigate the death of her family, which occurred several years earlier when there was some sort of mishap, apparently an accident of gas escaping a laboratory in the home that killed everyone except the little girl who had, at that point, with her imaginary friend, walked outside of the house. She, of course, suspects that there's some supernatural elements in play, had a dream where she saw the player characters as well as a symbol. When she reached out to each of the player characters, 4 of them answered the call. Well, 5 of them answered the call. One died in an unfortunate accident with a berserker and an axe. Early in the first session, the other one never made it to the meeting, but the others met with Astrid, agreed to help her out, and have been investigating what appears to be some sort of pact that her grandfather would have made with some dark forces somewhere in the northern forests of Scandinavia to ensure wealth and success to his family. So currently the players are in a small town, and I will get into that shortly, where they are investigating this particular thing. But before we continue, I would like to cede the floor to my players to introduce themselves. We will allow Kristen to go first, since, as I always say, this is her house.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm playing Katya, who is currently walking towards the mausoleum when she just explicitly told nobody else to do that. Oh, where did our cameras go?
I think we just all disappeared.
Disappeared.
Oh no.
Now we're playing Vaesen, y'all.
Yeah, now we're in the dark, yo.
All right,
I wonder if they can still hear us.
Still there. The audio is still there, so that's good.
Oh, there we are. Okay, we're good.
See, that's how scary it gets here.
We had a computer glitch. It's all good.
Be afraid of the dark.
Katya is currently walking towards the mausoleum, which she explicitly told nobody else to do, with nobody but creepy Sally at her side.
Sally.
We'll go to Chad.
Hello, it's me, Chad. I am playing Arn Kjeldsen. He is a haunted private investigator who has traveled around a bit. He's spent some time in America and England and is now back in his home country. And I'm going to use home country loosely because, of course, Norway and Sweden are kind of one country at this time, and it's weird, and politics and Napoleon and shit. Yeah, he's here trying to keep hopefully trying to keep Katya currently from whatever is in there. Old man Winters there in the mausoleum, so yeah.
Very good. Rob, coming to us live from somewhere in the middle of America.
Yes. So I'm Rob. I'm playing Father Stanislav Janikowski. He is, he was the confessor for Elias's deceased wife, and he's got some issues of his own as things are starting to been revealed during our last session. There's more to come, possibly, maybe. We'll see what happens. But right now, he's a little busy trying to put a kind of a holy circle around to protect his current crew, if they'll let him.
Not Father Stanislav in his room at night, self-flagellating.
That's right.
Yes.
When he's not protecting his flock, exactly.
He's flocking himself. Um,
What the fuck?
flogging is the word I was looking for.
There we go.
Flogging. And Kevin.
Hi, yes, I am Kevin, and I am returning tonight with these fine folks to continue some more Vaesen fun. You can find me online at Kevran Games, and I am continuing tonight to play Elias Johansen, who is also a haunted character. I think there's a theme between the four of us here. He is a writer who, as Rob just said, his wife has recently passed away, and he travels with her seeing eye dog Reginald, who is a standard schnauzer, who has been known to keep watch as I do a little bit of the sniff on substances to keep me awake. Elias is deathly afraid to fall asleep, but why? Let's
And
find out.
his stash is broken and gone.
Yeah, that's right. He did. He lost his special stash last time, so he's
Gotta
getting a little
find-
bit on edge.
Got to find Dr. Freud, get a refill.
That's right.
That's right.
Three of us are haunting. One of us, or three of us are haunted. One of us is haunting.
Exactly. Exactly.
perfect Vaesen group. I was just thinking that some of you didn't mention where you can be found. Do you want to do that now? Go back around and just briefly mention where you can be found, or do you want to do it at the break?
We'll do that at breaks. That's fine.
Okie dokie. Well, you can be found right here, right now.
That's right.
Let's go.
Anivia. Cool. All right. Let us then begin. I am Christian, your game master, taking you through all the horrific stuffs. All right. So let us begin. So you've traveled to the small village of Westeros to find Oscar Hellstrom's childhood home. There you found old Sven, the ancient groundskeeper, deep in his cups and madness. You heard from him how Oscar came back to this village after his beloved wife died, and that he became a vicious, mad old man, a terror upon the other villagers, until the night he died full of vodka and anger, frozen just outside the door of his cottage. Old Sven told you how Oscar always carried with him some dark secret that he said he would take to his grave. A grave dug by Sven himself with an old rusty shovel. Learning also that some strange horror haunted the Hellstrom crypt, you traveled up the path to the seemingly forgotten Snow and Shrouds cemetery. There you found Oscar's grave near that of his wife. As you did, dark secrets were whispered on the wind, setting Elias's nerves on end. Something about Oscar at least having loved his wife and played no part in her death, unlike perhaps some others. Then a strange light began emanating from the crypt, and entranced, Katya began walking toward it. As a thick
It's okay, guys. It's okay. I saw one of you, not me, going towards it. I swear.
That's right.
Totally safe.
Turns out it was her shadow. Then a strange light began to emanate in the crypt. Katya began walking towards it as a thick miasmic fog, yellow and rotten as the breath of the dead themselves, began to seep from the ground through the snow to envelop you all. Clutching his Bible, Father Stanislav began reciting an ancient prayer of protection, a benediction meant to sanctify the ground beneath his feet and bolster his allies. Father Stanislav, what does your protection do, your benediction do for people?
All right. Hold on a second. So within the area that's blessed, people friendly to me get a +1 on fear checks. Furthermore, any supernatural creature intending to harm me or my allies are automatically confused for 1 round upon entering the area, foregoing all their actions.
Very nice.
Come at me.
Wow. That's
Excellent.
awesome.
It is. I love it.
How do we, wow.
So a quick look at a map shows us where everybody is, with Father Stanislav and Elias near the grave. I do believe Arn was on his way trying to help Katya, who was on her way to the creepy crypt, while Hugin and Munin in the tree were cawing and just keeping, kind of dispassionate eye on you. And Reginald was sensing something terrible about to happen, growling and sort of torn between wanting to growl at everything around him, but also keep close to his master to try and protect him, near the old tree at the center of this crypt. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Yep.
We shall do initiative cards.
Yeah.
And see how
Oh, here we
things
go.
go from here. I do believe my guy, no, okay, just as an extra action. All right. So we'll go in order that I see you guys on my screen. So Katya, you have 7. Arn is at 2. Very good, Arn.
God, yeah.
Kevin, sorry, Elias will be at 4. I'll put these in order so that I can remember who's who. Father Stanislaw at 3. Well, you guys are doing much better than the first encounter you had. And and 1 for
Oh no.
my friendly friend. All right. So this is the setup. You have in front of you the grave of Oscar, and basically you've realized that very likely the creature that's haunting the ground is Oscar, or some manifestation of Oscar as a very angry spirit or revenant of some sort, whose anger is keeping him tethered to this place. You found in Hellstrom House a few rituals to help you, including one about how to deal with revenants. And armed with the shovel, you are ready to do the ritual, which consists of digging up the body, taking it across the fence of the graveyard 3 times before burying it again and sanctifying the ground. So as I was explaining earlier, with the way this works, one of you needs to be doing the ritual. It will take 3 turns to complete the ritual. One of you, as long as you're not in a position where you're unable to do it, of course, one of you that has a free action would just say that you're doing the ritual. And once you've done it for 3 rounds, if you're all still alive or have not gone mad, then, perhaps success will find you. But let's see how it goes. So we will begin a little bit out of initiative for now, just to see sort of what happens, and then we will go with this. So let us start then with Father Stanislav having given his prayer and sanctified the ground around you, and those who are there currently. And I will say that right now where you're standing, everyone but Katya feels the effects of it. You feel emboldened. You feel as if there is, it's kind of like being a ship with the prevailing winds. You suddenly feel there's a little bit of a shift in the overall feel of the scene and what's happening. You feel a bit emboldened, a bit more courageous. The Father Stanislav's words ring out strong and loud, and whether or not you are of the same persuasion as he is religiously, you do feel the conviction in his words, and that alone sort of, it's like Red Bull, it gives you wings. Just to be anachronistic, but all right, so Father Stanislav has been doing that. I would like to know what you, Elias, are doing at this particular juncture.
Well, just before we closed last session, I did pull out my knife out of reflex. I am extremely frazzled by the fact that this creature has spoken out my deepest, darkest secret, which is that I am responsible, at least in some capacity, for my wife's death. A secret that I've been keeping from everyone here. And I am extremely shaken up by this news. There is definitely a cold chill that's running through me, and I'm trying to steel myself against that. Instinctively, I reach in for the vial of my powders that keep me awake, and remember with continued horror that they're gone. So at this point, I'm having a moment, and I look to Reginald, look towards the Revenant, look towards Reginald again, unsure of what to do in this precise moment.
Okay. Arn, you are seeing Katya, who's about perhaps 10 steps away now from the crypt. When you look over to the crypt, you can see a strange light glowing in it that flickers, almost perhaps as if there's a fire inside, but it looks like a bale fire. It's like It got greenish, yellowish sort of tones rather than warming ambers. And the crypt door you now see is slightly ajar, where you're pretty sure when you came in the first time and inspected the building, the door was closed. And you can definitely see that Katya seems to be very, very intent on walking towards that. What will your character be attempting to do?
Yeah, he feeling in part due to their shared past, and because he's a decent fellow, doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. So he's like, no, God, no, and is kind of I guess charging over moving over to I don't know, waylay her to stop her from doing that, or I guess in lieu of anything else, at least going in with her, so she doesn't have to get possessed alone or whatever. Who knows, right? So, but yeah.
All right, and you, Katya, a few steps away from the crypt. You don't feel the power of Father Stanislav's benediction behind you. You faintly hear someone perhaps screaming your name far behind you, but they seem really sort of distant and inconsequential. And instead, you are quite taken as you are approaching this crypt by seeing that the inside of the crypt appears to resemble the kitchen of your family home, and sitting in the place where he would always sit, especially on Sunday mornings when he got drunk instead of taking the family to church, appears to be the form of your father, hunched over a glass of vodka perhaps, and sort of brooding as he tended to do often, which is sort of a surprise to you, as you were pretty sure your father was dead. But that is what you see inside the crypt. What do you intend to do?
Katya is going to pull out her dagger, and then she's going to roll for stealth.
All right.
How many times?
4 successes.
4 successes. Okay. You are stealthy as the wind. In fact, Arn is looking at you and calling, and then he looks over his shoulder to sort of see what's going on with Father Stanislav there. And when he turns back, he sort of lost sight of you. Where you've gone now. All right, so let us go then to initiative, and we'll go in order of initiative, and now you can actually take some actions and begin the ritual if you so wish. We begin with Arn, in fact, who had a 2.
Great.
I need to find my dice. Be right back.
Arn, having lost sight of Katya. Oh man. Like, I guess he's gonna go to the crypt because maybe she went into the crypt. I think that's where that makes logical sense to him in this realm of illogicality.
So you advance towards the crypt. As you get close to the door, you will see what appears to be a fairly standard mausoleum, an entrance with on the various sides room for the various caskets of family members. Then there are stairs that go down, and you see like a brazier next to the stairs. Then that's where there's this weird sort of a greenish yellowish flame that's burning, and when you look inside the brazier, you see bones acting as fuel rather than the logs, than wooden logs, for example. And as you approach the crypt itself, you see something moving in the shadow, and the best way to describe it is as if there is perhaps a tree hidden away behind the light that is moving, for it looks like there are branches and so on and so forth in the shadows that are splayed against the wall. I will give you a little bit more information once I find out what Katya is doing. But for now, if you would roll a fear check, as you are in the presence of a revenant, I will say that Father Stanislav's spell lingers, and so you get that +1 still. And even though you don't see Katya, you know she is nearby. You trust her. You have a pass with her, so I will say that she also counts as a +1 for your fear check.
So what do I roll
So
as a
for
fear
your
check?
fear check, even I don't remember. I'll tell you in a second. Ow.
Just all of your dice, just all of them.
Yeah, I have a
just
lot of
every-
dice.
Yeah, just all of them. Yeah.
I apologize in advance for the fact that I'm going to be rolling one die over and over and over again.
That's all right. It's the old school way right there.
Dear dice sellers, why is it that you only sell sets with 1d6?
Here, I found
Please.
fear.
So you may choose to tackle it with logic or empathy.
I'm going to use logic.
There you go. You get to add 1 dice for Father Stanislav's spell, which lingers, although it won't linger past this. I'm just saying, since you were in it when he cast it, it'll linger for 1 round. And then you know that Katya's somewhere around here, and you do trust her, so I'll give you another +1.
Awesome.
For
So that'll
that.
be 7 dice
Ooh,
for
beautiful.
Arn, since Arn is a logical guy.
Oh, geez. Does he have to push it?
I would like to put. Can I push a fear roll?
You can push your fear roll.
Holy buckets! But I'm
the
going to take a
successes. Remember, you also have an advantage that you can add
I
2 dice
do
to
have
roll if you
advantage.
wish. Do you want
can
to use
add-
it, or
If I use one, I add how many dice?
2 dice if you use
2
your
dice?
advantage?
Yeah, I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna push it and then use advantage.
Go for it.
Beautiful.
All right, there we go. That's 2 successes. Jeez.
I
Although I
can put
suppose
the
I-
fan away.
But I take a condition because I
Yeah, you
pushed.
take a mental condition.
All right, I am exhausted.
Yeah, that took everything you
No,
had.
you would be angry. It's a mental condition, not physical.
You know, I can read. You're correct.
He was testing you
wrong.
and you passed. Good
This is-
job.
So yes,
done.
then you feel anger that this thing would dare come back to life after having been such a terrible burden to everyone, and continue to hound these people, and not only that, but threaten your friend Katya.
You cannot have her, Oscar. Oh, won't let you.
Oscar he's going to roll his own fear check now to see if following this, Father Stanislav, what will be your action? So remember, you can take 1 fast and 1 slow action during the turn. You can keep your fast action to dodge or parry if you get attacked, or you can use it if you wish. But you would tell me what your slow action is if you wish to do something specific.
Well, I mean, at the moment, there are no Vaesen near the circle, right?
No, but you do see that your friend Elias seems to be in a bit of a fright and a bit unsure of himself.
His knife wavers in his hand.
There's my skills. Well, absolution is not going to be like right now. Elias.
You could try something like inspiration for both turn, or
I mean the well, first of all, is the circle completed yet?
yes.
That's
So the circle is completed.
Now complete.
Beat me by
Elias,
1
I need
second.
you here, present now. My friend, we will take care of what ails you and your soul after this evil is beaten, not until then. And he screams out, Orn, we need you back here. If you have to bring her, drag her back. I can't protect you from there.
Would you like to give me an inspiration roll to see if you can help Elias then sort of bolster himself and regain control of himself?
All right, so it's inspiration plus empathy.
Plus your empathy.
Oh, here we go. Two sixes.
Very good. So you're Elias. You are in fear. You are unsure what to do. You are trembling. The Father Stanislav finishes his benediction. You feel the power of it sort of bolstering you, and his words to you also, speaking to you as a friend, as someone who knows you very well, really emboldens your spirit. What would you like to do?
I look at the Revenant, I make eye contact with him, and I say, I loved my wife. And I will then take the dagger and I will pull it up like I'm going to attack somebody. And then I bring it down into the grave and start digging at the grave with the dagger with my hands. Reginald, help me. And I start trying to dig and trying to just dig this thing. And then, yeah, Reginald jumps in there. Yeah, he just starts dog mawing at it. Kicking up dirt all over
looking
the
for
place.
bones?
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah, I just try to just plow through the grave. I'm trying to just dig it up. I know we have to start this ritual, so I begin it. I try to stick my courage to the sticking place.
Perfect. Excellent. You start digging, and with Reginald's help, very quickly, you get to, and you realize, of course, old Sven being, fairly drunk and old and feeble, and the ground probably being fairly hard throughout the year here, didn't dig very far. And very quickly, within just like a few inches of soil, you start seeing bones very easily. And you can see the glint in Reginald's eye, thinking perhaps I could go, but he sticks to the job. And very soon, as the two of you are digging, you have unearthed the body, which has not even been placed in a grave or anything, just sort of wrapped in a kind of oilcloth bag, so that it would kind of all hold together. And you have all the bones of Oscar. And as you see him, you feel a strange kind of feeling overcoming you, because you're seeing the bones of a man who 100 years ago made a decision that led to all these events and to you being here tonight. And this sort of, seeing him there dead, on one hand makes you think of perhaps he's gotten his comeuppance, but the effects of his decisions, of course, are still having an impact and being passed down the generations to his family, and all the way down to Astrid, who currently is in her state in the sanitarium and blind, right, and feeling all that. So it kind of bolsters you because you feel a little bit of anger perhaps at this man and his decisions and all that, and it sort of bolsters you further as you pull out the bag of bones and start making ready to continue the rest of the ritual.
My friends, I have found the remains. I yell out to everyone as I scoop them up.
Ruff! Reginald agrees. Katya, you have gone super stealth assassin mode. You creep into basically what is your kitchen. Your father doesn't seem to have realized that you're there as he's concentrating on his drink, and you see over in the corner your mother's apron that's hanging from the corner kind of sadly there, and what he's put her through and all this. And as you enter into this crypt very, very stealthy, or into the kitchen very stealthily, with just the fireplace kind of providing a weird sort of greenish yellowish light, which is very strange to you, but you can hear outside the cawing of ravens. What would you like to do?
Yeah, Katya is caught up in the thing, so she would super stealth assassin mode sneak up behind her father and slit his throat.
Yeah. Hardcore mode. So you come up behind him very quietly, and as he takes a drink, you wait for him to bring the glass down, and then even before his mouth, you grab him by the throat. Your little hand, a little childlike hand from you when you were younger, grabbing him, and he doesn't really resist as your knife plunges into his throat, and blood spurts out and covers the table and covers him and covers your hand and covers you, and you just see that blood kind of gushing, and slowly he turns around and looks at you and says, "My, what a horrible little girl you are." And as he says this, you see his eyes have this sort of greenish yellow flame in it, and his hair is sort of standing out on end, almost like branches sticking out of his head. The creature here looks a little bit, that's staring at you, looks like a dried corpse shot through with branches and roots, an unholy marriage of carrion and rotten vegetation. Its rictus shows baleful fire deep within, and as it turns, it emits a low moan, as if the soul of the man it was once was calling out to you from beyond the grave, begging for help or promising a similar fate. Would you give me a fear check, please?
Cool. Okay.
Wow.
Empathy.
As she's doing this, Arn, you finally see, as you're kind of peering in and kind of creeping in, you hear a sound off to
2
the side.
successes.
2 successes, all right. And you turn and you see Katya standing there near the fire with her blade in her hand and kind of standing there looking up as if she's staring at something that's staring down, and the shadow is moving sort of from the other side and moving towards her. I will finish your action. I'll come back and let you finish your original action since you didn't actually do an action, all right? So you succeeded, Katya. The fear washes over you, but you've been here before. You've done this before. You've dealt with this. You spent years dealing with the aftermath of, wondering what did happen to your father, what was your role in it, so on and so forth. So the fear of it
Now
sort of just washes over you, and you're left quite unimpressed, almost, as this creature stands in front of you now, and you see it clearly for what it is, a revenant.
That was anticlimactic, Sally.
And so, Arn, I will give you an opportunity to do an action before I go to the creature, as you now have a complete picture of sort of what's happening there. So you can take a slow action.
Oh. Can I kick over the brazier?
Sure. You would like to do that?
No. It's got like weird green flames, so that's weird. So I don't know. Maybe that's what's up.
So give me a force check. Your physique, sick physique, and your force.
So swole.
Yeah, well,
Pretty big brazier, so you're gonna need to put some of your all into it.
I'm gonna use an advantage.
You've already used your advantage. You only get one.
Oh, they don't.
Yep.
Okay.
Didn't we have it? Didn't we have an extra from the last time that we
But
ever
it
used?
resets every time.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you carried over the one from last session. Next time you travel, you get to have another one. So later,
Oh, okay, I
you
see,
might
I
have
see.
another one, for example.
All right. Well, I will roll my lucky 3 dice.
You can do it.
I'm a very physical man. Look at my muscles. No. Nope. You know what? And I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna push it either. I'm just gonna be like,
So you sort of come up running to it and try to, this is Sparta kick it. And as your foot hits it, you realize that it's bolted to the floor.
Of course.
So
Yep.
it doesn't move, and you're like, my foot. You don't take a condition from it, but you've kind of singed and hurt your foot a little bit, and you get a little bit of a limp going on, but it's not severe enough that it would cause.
My question is Katya
Coherent?
is Katya coherent to like this world, the physical world, as opposed to whatever that was?
Yeah, now she seems to be like, once she turned to her doll, right, and said, "Oh, that was anticlimactic." And so now, Katya, you see you're in this crypt, right, with the fire next to you, and Arn is trying to kick this bolted down.
Yeah, she just sees Arn run up, and like, it's not a Charlie Brown kick, but it's a kick, and it doesn't do anything. And then I feel like they make eye contact, and he's just like,
He just shakes their head.
yeah.
But standing in front of you now, this strange sort of creature stands in front of you, and it will. You see it. It appears to be sort of physical as it stands up, but very quickly it sort of transforms and becomes almost spectral or ghostly, and you see it scream at you, and the fire in the brazier sort of explodes up, and as you hide your eyes, you kind of back up from it. You see, just as you put your hands on, that it's slipping out through one of the cracks on the side of the building and has headed outside.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. All right. Initiative again. We're back to the top with Arn. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna attempt another feat of physical prowess or not. I would like to attempt to kind of grab Katya up and like dash out the door.
Okay.
However that attempt can be made.
Right. So I will ask you to make an agility check. However, your mental condition that you suffered makes you be at -1. So you'll give me an agility and physique just to see if you can sort of, grab her without injuring her and pull her along with you.
Man, I'm glad I raised my agility
Yeah.
to a 2. That means I have 4 dice this time.
Beautiful.
Katya, will you be resisting or will you?
No, I won't be resisting.
I would totally understand if you would be. I understood that might be a problem, but I think this is where it goes.
She sees that it's no longer her father that's somehow alive.
2 successes.
Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm a real boy.
Excellent. So with the 2 success, not only do you manage to grab a hold of her, I will say you actually manage to pull her with you enough that you can both move into the next zone if you wish.
Sweet.
Without her expending her action. So if she's not resisting, you would grab her and you would make your way into the next zone, which is just inside Father Stanislav's thing. And as you do, you notice sort of in its ghostly form flitting around the tree is the Revenant that used to be Oscar. As you come out, you notice that Reginald and Elias are busy hauling a bag of bones away from the tree. And we will now go to Father Stanislav and find out what Father Stanislav is doing.
All right, so I'm assuming at this point I can see the Revenant.
You can, and you should give me a fear check.
I should do a fear check.
Yep. Empathy or logic, your choice. +1 dice for your spell, and I'll give you +2 dice for Elias and Reginald being in close vicinity to you.
All right. That's 2 6s again.
Perfect. So not only you are not afraid, you see this thing and you just, see a poor tortured soul that needs to be shrived and relieved in order that it may pass on and move on to the rest that we all sinners deserve. So you are not afraid, and you are in fact sort of dedicated to seeing this through. So what would you like to do then?
Oh, so we're going to have some fun then. He's got his Bible in one hand with the Saint Bartholomew's Bible black covering it, and he's got his crucifix out in the other hand, and he's the power of the Holy Spirit is filling him. He's got the consecrated ground beneath him, and he knows that he need fear no evil. So he starts working on exorcising this demon before him. And he starts shouting, Exorcizamos te, omnis immundi spiritus, omnis satanic potestas, omnis finalis, adversari, omnis legio, omnis congratio, et secta diabolica, in nomine et virtute Domini nostri Jesu Christi, and tries to cast out the spirit.
All right. So you're using your holy symbol. Would you like to make an inspiration check for me? Which is your inspiration plus empathy.
All right, so it's 1. Inspiration, right? Where I'm not rolling too many of these. 2 6s.
2 6s. He will attempt to resist you. He attempts to resist you, rolling also 2 6s, but as we determined last time, the ties go to the defender. So you bring up your holy symbol, you recite your incantation at him. However, what you see is he seems to be in a sort of spectral form, and what you normally would have expected to see, which is a physical reaction, doesn't seem to happen. But you kind of get the feeling that he's probably kind of protected when he's in this spectral form, and would probably need to be in his physical form in order to be injured, as he continues to sort of flit through. Like he recoiled from you, but not as much as you would have expected, and it didn't seem to have the sort of impact you would have expected from this particular move that you made.
Okay.
At 5, the birds will take off and start circling around where he is, cawing.
I think Elias has a 4.
Elias is at 4. Absolutely. Go ahead. I'm very sorry.
Oh, not a problem. I just want to make sure I didn't have that wrong.
No, I just don't know how to count.
No, you're fine. Elias and
7 of us.
that's it. Elias and Reginald are going to, with the bones, try to make their way down towards the cemetery gates to continue this ritual to keep this thing going. And he's just going to think of his wife, just the way she carried herself, the way her beauty made him feel better, and he's just going to use that as a strength right now. He's just going to try to avoid looking at this creature because he's afraid of what he'll see, perhaps a reflection of himself of a certain level. So he's just trying to focus at the task at hand.
All right, so I won't call on a fear check yet. As you go around the other side of the tree, quite decide with you holding the bag of bones on one end and Reginald holding the other end together. As you both run and make a beeline for the gates of the cemetery. And I will say that you have time to go, jump over, toss the bag over, jump over, pick up the bag, and you're in the process of throwing it over a second time. You know you have to do that 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
For the ritual. So
Okay.
Reginald can't help you too much here because he can't
Sure.
get over the wall.
Yeah.
So you pass it off once, jump over, grab it, pass it off again, and you're in the process of climbing over the railing.
Reginald does a guard on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And at 5, the birds now start circling and cawing and just being a nuisance at the Revenant. And at 7, Katya.
Katya's going to look at this thing that tried to manipulate her
Oh no.
and is going to tell it, "You're dead. You're gone. You hold no power here. You have no sway in this world. Be gone, and we won't destroy you."
All right. So you're using manipulation to try and convince him to cease and desist. He will attempt to resist you, because that's what he does.
I feel like perhaps she is emboldened because I have carried her into the circle of power.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'm fishing. I realize I'm fishing, but
Well, I will tell you what. I will, that +1 that you normally get against fear while you're standing in this, I will give it to you on your roll, since you are being very courageous in standing up to him.
That did give me 1 success, but I'm gonna
Yes.
push it. I'm gonna push it.
And
re-roll.
pushing it.
The ones that didn't. For 5 successes.
what?
Holy moly!
Oh my
All right.
goodness. Katya is
So-
the MVP of the party.
That's right.
Odin
I have
is with
7
us.
dice to roll for that.
So he rolled 4 successes though. But so, all right. So the way manipulation works, of course, is you can't make something do something that's really not in their nature, right? But since you did get more success, and he's rolling a lot of dice, also you get a lot of success, you get so many successes, and you're all emboldened. What I will say is this: is that he will hesitate for a moment, and instead of doing what he was going to do, which was make a beeline for Elias on his action, which comes next, and attack him, which would probably not have been pretty for Elias. It will cause him to hesitate, and instead of making a beeline for that, he will seek the sanctuary of his crypt, flying right back into the crypt, and sort of, recomposing himself, or kind of like, in some ways listening to your order, right, of fleeing, but you have no doubt that he
He'll
will
be back.
return. But for now, he has gone back into the crypt, and it's almost like the temperature in the area has gone up a little bit, and you all feel like, a little bit more like, oh, okay, all right, like we got this, like he's gone to resource himself back in his room. All right, excellent, very good round. Okay, so you now have 2 rounds of the ritual done. What remains is for the body to be brought back and to be reburied. So we will go back to the creature who, as I said, was going to go and attack Elias, but having fled now into his thing, I will say that he will switch his initiative,
Oh boy.
and I will give you, Katya, his initiative, which is 1, and I'll put him at 7. So go ahead, Katya. What would you like to do?
Katya is now going to take the tinder box she has and set fire to the dry grass around her.
Well, so the area is covered in snow. I didn't.
Oh, snow. That's right. That's
you
snow.
were right.
God
The
damn it.
map doesn't have snow on it, but it's because
Yeah. Okay.
the
Okay. Okay.
creepiest map I could find, and it had no snow.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Awesome map by Ross at 2-minute tabletop map, but
Give it a
No
tabletop
snow on it.
rocks.
I don't have
so
that
much
one.
good maps.
you can also switch your initiative with somebody else, right? Like if you wanted, for example, Elias to be able to come back
Yeah. Let's go ahead
quickly
and switch with
you could
Elias.
swap
Yeah.
out with him.
Cool.
Would you like
Yeah.
to do that?
Yes. I'll swap with
All right.
Elias.
So you'll swap with Elias. Elias, you go at 1.
Cool. Yeah, so Elias's lungs are just burning in his chest. This is the most physical exertion he's done in a long time, but he knows that this really, really matters. So he pushes through it, and he stumbles for a bit, slips on the snow, but gets back up to his feet, stumbling with the bones, and joins back up with Reginald, and the two of them come running and slipping, bounding back into where the protection circle is, beelining for that grave. And I will yell, "Father, do you have the shovel? We must bury it with the shovel."
So having gone over 3 times, you run. At some point, as you're running back, you see Reginald stop, go back towards the fence, come back with a bone in his mouth. I'd forgotten.
Good boy, good boy.
And he brings it back, and you come back towards the hole, and you yell to Father Stanislav. So your action is to continue the ritual. You come back, bring the body, put it back into the ground. You also know you need a cross, right? You need to put a cross on this grave. So you bury him, you put him in, and you start getting ready to continue the ritual. Harn, what would you like to do at 2?
Oh, yeah, I warring against my natures. I'm gonna go help bury this guy. Katya, obviously, as we now know, badass. She's got this.
She got this.
Realistically, I can't do anything against a spook specter or ghost or anything. So, at least not in his not spirit physical form.
Would you like to look around to see if you can find a cross, maybe that you could pilfer to place on this thing?
Yes. Yep. I will look around, hopefully not find a solid granite carved cross on somebody's gravestone that I will throw my back out and still not move.
Fine. Let's give me an investigation plus logic roll to see if you manage to find something in the immediate area that is movable.
And -1 because of my condition.
Of your condition, yeah. Son, you got a condition. I love saying that.
Oh yeah.
The best line from that movie.
I will offer 2 successes as my success.
Excellent. And with those 2 successes, not only do you find a cross, but there's this weird thing where there was a big wooden cross on one of the graves, and time and the weather has split it in half, so that when you take one half off, there's still half of the cross, like one side of it, so you're not actually desecrating another grave.
Nice.
to bring that one, and you say thank you to the person whose name is so old and that the stone has been kind of effaced, and you rush back towards the grave where Elias is busy, armed with the shovel and with Reginald, putting the dirt back on top of the dirt bag, on top of Oscar. That was at 2. At 3, we will go with Father Stanislav. What would you like to do?
All right, so the dirt is already back on.
They're in the process of doing that, yeah.
I mean, unless there's something I need to do to keep the circle. Do I need to do anything as far as like maintaining the ore?
No, the circle maintains itself.
In that case, he's going to get his back into helping get the dirt on as quickly as possible.
All right, no problem. You have to also whisper a benediction over the grave once it is ready.
Yes.
So you can start, in your mind, coming up with a wonderful oratory for just that occasion. Excellent. So I will say, since so many of you are pitching in, I will say that you will finish the ritual at the end of this action. Katya, what would you like to do it for?
Katya is going to notice that they got things pretty well in hand.
You can see this thing's eyes through one of the windows, one of the stained glass windows of the crypt, like kind of looking at you. You can see that it's kind of building its courage up to come back and
she's gonna get Sally up next to her and let her just kind of float there and be like, yeah, he's not as big and bad as he thought he was, is he, Sally? And just stare him down.
You're just taunting.
Yep.
Him. So at 5, the birds will come back and sit on the branches and caw at you. And at 7, now he will go. He possesses an extra fast action, which he can use for movement, which he will use. And he knows that what's going on at the grave here is problematic. So he's going to, in his spectral form, come swooping in and sort of land right in the middle of you, and take his physical form as he arrives and sort of lands
Can
in the
I
middle
try
of,
and grab him as he goes past me as a reaction since I didn't use a fast action?
as a fax action. I will allow you to do that, except that as he goes past you, he's in his ghostly form. So
Oh,
you will
okay.
actually sort of reach out and, you know, kind of try to grab him and be left with ectoplasm or something. No, but you'll try to kind of grab him, but
Been slimed.
he will
My
sort of pass
reaction will
through
be
you.
to yell. It'll be like I try and grab him. He's on his way. Be wary.
So he will, I will ask Elias to give me his fear check as you are now face to face with this critter.
All right. So last time you did say that I
let's-
had a -1, but does that get balanced out by the +1 from the
So
blessing?
right now you have a +1 for the benediction. You have 3 people around you that are friends, so that's +3, so that's a +4. Yeah, I'll say
So
your -1 was because of the secret, but you
Okay.
kind of, you know, when you were running, you were thinking about your wife and the fact you loved her and all that. So I will say that you sort of
Okay.
overcome that.
Okay.
quick question. Let me know if he's intending if the Revenant's intending any harm upon us, because that's bad for him.
Yeah, which is what I'm going to get to momentarily. I just want to see if
Oh,
Elias
okay.
is.
All right. So the fear, then you said I have a +4 from my allies. My empathy is a 5, so that's gonna be 9 dice I'm gonna roll.
You're looking for 2 successes.
I like my chances with this. See, I just jinxed it saying that, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right. You just jinxed it.
1, 2, 3 6s.
The magic number. As you're digging, he comes in front of you and goes, and you say a witty line.
It's time for this to end.
Okay, that'll do. That'll do. And you see, when he sees the fear didn't work, he becomes physical again, and you see him hauling back to try and hit you. And the second he does that, you see him like, you feel like this power around you that sort of erupts, and there's like this bright flash of light surrounding you, and all of a sudden he's sort of stunned and kind of stumbles away, clawing at his eyes, as the father's benediction, the benediction he's placed on the floor, on the area around here, stuns him for a moment, and he kind of reels back, giving you the opening you need to complete the ritual. Which, new round, first action. Elias, you have put the body back in the grave. Arn has brought you across, planted it at the head of the grave. All that remains now is to say a final prayer over his grave to finally banish him. Would you like to swap your action perhaps with Father Stanislav to give him the go ahead to say the prayer?
Yes, is this required for him to do that? I feel I do. I lean back and I fall back onto my ass actually, and Reginald comes over and immediately rubs up against me to protect me. He kind of puts himself between me and the Revenant, and I just tiredly I look over at the father and just give him a nod, a very knowing nod.
All right, so the look on Father Stanislav's face changes from, the defiant, spirit-infused defiance that he had against the Revenant, to realizing that the task is now one of putting a restless spirit to rest. Yeah, okay. So
That
there,
happens to the
it ends
best
up
of us.
becoming a serene look on his face, and he gives the Revenant that's standing there just a brief look of almost sympathetic gaze before turning his attention back to the grave, and he starts intoning Benedicat et tibi Dominus et custodiet te, ostendat Dominus facium suam tibi, et miseratu tui, combetat Dominus votum sum, a te et det vobis pacem. And the final line saying, being and give you peace. And puts the crucifix on top of the grave.
And as you do so, the creature that's in front of you, you see it start to shake and scream. You see from the grave, there are giant roots of trees that erupt from the ground, start encircling the creature itself as its roots sort of meld with the other roots, and it starts pulling it down into the grave. It screams at first as if in pain, but eventually the screams sort of abate, and you feel a sort of restfulness coming over it, a deep sadness perhaps also, but certainly a feeling of blessed relief to finally be getting to go to his rest as his body is dragged back into the grave. The last thing you hear, sort of floating on the wind in a voice much more human than you heard the first time, is the mausoleum. And he is dragged into the ground. And when he is done, the two graves side by side, him and his wife, undisturbed, the snow on both of them, each with their cross. And for a moment, there's peace about you.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, that was fun.
well said, Father.
Elias slowly gets up to his knees and he takes the knife out of the grave and he just puts it off to the side. He lowers his head so that his forehead is touching Reginald's forehead. And the two of them have a moment as he just strokes the side of Reginald's face.
He licks your face. Very happy. Can't believe I'm role-playing the dog.
Katya does want to find like a bench or something where she doesn't have to sit in the snow, and she wants to use medium again to make sure that the ghosts have come back.
Okay, so as you sit down onto, you find a nice headstone that's just at the right height. You daintily sit on it and placing sound next to you, and you start to concentrate. And as you do feel that far away on the edges, of the area, you feel movement, and you feel like curiosity, and you feel kind of, is it safe to come back kind of thing. And you do feel a tentative approach by the souls of the people who have been buried here over time that were displaced by this creature, slowly start kind of, gingerly trying to see if it's okay to come back.
I am gonna roll the observation roll for it to see if I can like announce out into the ether that the revenant is gone. I got one success.
That's good. So you speak to them. You see as you're speaking, one of the two ravens that was on the tree comes down, alights next to you, and as you speak, he sort of seems to listen, and then he flies off, and you kind of get this feeling that he's going to bring your message to all the restless spirits sort of in the area. And as he's doing that, the other one comes and alights on your shoulder next to you and sort of just looks around and goes, ah, and then flies off and alights on top of the door to the mausoleum.
She looks over at the others and dashes for the mausoleum to go check it out.
Arn, what would you like to do?
Oh man.
Oh, this child.
Well, as you look over the mausoleum now, there doesn't seem to be light in it anymore. Like that sort of yellowish greenish light is gone. Everything seems kind of dark and quiet.
I mean, it's still rife with tetanus, I'm sure. I think, realistically, she has the right of it. I think I look at my other two fellows and say, well, gentlemen, I think she has the right of it, and turn to go to the mausoleum.
Father Stanislav and Elias,
So
what would you like to do?
Father Stanislav's gaze goes from the grave over to Elias, and the sympathetic gaze that he had momentarily for Revenant is now trained on Elias, and he walks over behind him and just puts a hand on his shoulder. Doesn't say anything, just puts the hand on his shoulder.
And Elias will slowly stand. And when he turns back towards you, you see that his eyes are filled with tears. And he says, let's deal with whatever this is first.
We will deal with this together, and then we will deal with what tortures your soul, my friend.
Gives him a nod, and then he kind of follows in behind the father. And Father Stanislav, you'll hear something kind of rustle behind you. If you happen to glance back, you notice that I've pulled the revolver out for protection in case we need it right now. I'm not sure what we're walking into in that mausoleum, so I'm not taking any chances.
So as you walk into the mausoleum, do you have a little source of light?
I
I know we have lanterns, but I don't think we currently have anything going, do we?
will turn on one of the lanterns because we got one for each of us.
You did buy lanterns, right? So you turn on as you approached. You realize now it's dark inside because the fire is out. You turn on.
Are you telling me I don't have a holy glow?
The holy glow of righteousness. Your eyes are like you. So you light up a couple lanterns. You walk into the mausoleum, and it looks very old and disused. It's still creepy, but different creepy from before. It did look sort of haunted, before. Now it just looks like no one really living has been here really to speak of in who knows how long. You see the various places where the various coffins and whatnot of the family would go, and there's another floor that goes downstairs that lead downstairs, but the newer ones are here, and you see Oscar and Petra there. They're buried in the thing. They were not placed in his grave. You see also Per and Per's wife. They're the place where they would go, also there, but it stops there. There's no coffins for later members of the family. It's like they stopped, wanting to use this place. I will ask you then to give me an investigation and an observation. So choose one person for investigation and one person for observation, and each of them can get +1 from somebody else helping them doing the investigation and observation.
Well, the investigation's got to be Arn, right?
Yeah,
I got observation with all of my pluses.
Cool.
Both of you have mental conditions, so you're at -1.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Would you like to take a moment to perhaps reflect with your mementos and hope to
Yes.
tell us how that goes? As Father
Sally.
Stanislav and Elias arrive into the crypt, what do they see?
Sally, I'm pretty sure I killed my father. Not that I'm sad about it. He was a mean old drunk. But I think I'm getting over it now.
So dark. So twisted. And with that, you focus on your memento and feel some of your anger that you had picked up earlier from your condition sort of fade away, and you do feel more at peace, more restful with your decision. Arn, what do they see as they come in?
I am not going to do it because that's an interesting choice too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh wait, my magnifying glass is inspiration and learning, not investigation, but that's okay. That's okay. So I still get to roll.
Well, yeah, in
normal.
fact, you could use learning instead of investigation if you wanted. Learning is about
Yeah,
for
that's-
information. So
Yeah,
I'll let
learning
you-
is a lesser role.
So go for investigation. Someone will be
yeah.
assisting you, so you can get a +1. And whoever's doing the observation, same thing, make a roll. And one of
I
the other
got 2
characters will do-
successes.
All right.
I got 1.
Okay, good enough. So as you're, all 4 of you are moving through the crypt and sort of looking around and looking for clues, the first thing that you will notice, Arn, with your success, is you see on the walls are painted several different images, perhaps in blood, perhaps in mud, in dried mud, so on and so forth. But they've been painted over time, and you find a number of them. And as you start cataloging them, they've been painted over to the face, basically the mausoleum. You find a number of them. You see one that is, there are 4 lines that are crossed out and four more next to them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like tally
what I mean?
marks.
Yeah,
Kind of like
like
tally
tally-
marks.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So 4 crossed out, then 4 more, and this is repeated
9.
throughout the area. You also see that symbol of the triangles that you've seen before, kind of roughly drawn in a bunch of different places.
That rune stave.
Yeah, you see a symbol that looks very similar to perhaps an upside down hammer that is dripping blood. You see a number of images of trees being cut down or already cut, and sort of lumber and whatnot. And you see images of circular saws throughout the room, or trees being cut by circular saws. And these are repeated throughout the mausoleum and downstairs, if you go downstairs also, throughout the place. As you are sort of searching and looking around, Katya, you kind of notice that the moon outside, which is shining quite bright tonight, is coming through one of the stained glass windows. And one of the symbols on that particular stained glass window is a giant tree, a very healthy, very strong looking tree. And as the moon is sort of passing just over the mausoleum, the light shines down through that, and you see that image of the tree through the light of the moon being reflected over Oscar's, where Oscar's coffin would have gone. Right, there's like a door, and his name is written on it. There's the date of his birth, but no date of death on it. And it's there. And as you kind of get the feeling that, like your little occult spidey sense is tingling, right? This image sort of lying there and whatnot. You approach and notice that, as opposed to the other ones, this one appears to have been manipulated or handled recently. There's no like cobwebs or things of that nature on it. And the latch that would keep it closed is sort of not closed properly.
I'm gonna go open it.
You go open it, make a fear check. No, you remember Sven saying that Oscar carried with him a dark secret, and he said he would take it with him to his grave. And those words echo in your mind as you open the little mausoleum place where the coffin would have been. And inside you find a sort of oilcloth bag wrapped with a leather strap that's placed inside of the little place where the coffin would go.
I'm gonna pull it out and open it.
As you pull it out, a bunch of branches and old rotten tree leaves sort of follow and kind of alight everywhere, sort of around you on the ground. And you pull this thing out and you open it, and inside you find a few different items. One, you find an old sort of scroll There appears to be a scroll, like a leather scroll that kind of is bound together. It looks quite old. You find a more recent document. It is a hand-drawn map of the northern part of the country that's been folded over several times. And another thing that you find is a piece of yellowed paper torn from a book that has scribblings written on it, and it's kind of folded over a few times. Which one would you like to check first?
I think she would check the hand-drawn map first and look for an X. She's convinced it's a treasure map.
Pretty good. The map shows the northern part of the continent, like I said, and at the very near top of it in the north, near a lake and a river, there is a town called Narvik that is indicated up there. You've heard that name before. It was the town originally that Oscar began his business, his lumber business at. And you see that there's basically lists of trains and different means of getting there, probably an old map that maybe not Oscar, but perhaps Per or one of the others later coming in had made a map of the different ways to get to Norvik in the area. What do you check next?
The old scroll.
The old scroll, as you unroll it, it is quite old, and I would require someone with perhaps some knowledge of ancient languages.
Elias, maybe even the father. You should come check this out. I can't read it.
I'll approach at least with Reginald.
All right.
And
so you see it's written in Old
Father will
Norse.
follow him.
It's written in Old Norse. If you'd like to make a learning check for me to see if you can.
Okay. The this isn't gonna have my bookworm is not going to be able to apply to this because this isn't a book. I don't.
What's the bookworm do again?
It's a talent that lets me get a +2 to my learning roll when interacting with books, but I don't know if it applies.
Oh
to
no,
scrolls.
please go ahead. Yeah, it totally applies.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right, so that's learning logic +2. That's going to be 8 then.
After all, a scroll is a book that hasn't been bound yet.
That's right.
Wow, I rolled
Maybe?
8 dice and got 0 successes. I'm gonna
Ooh.
push this.
Did I roll for you?
Wow, no, right? There we go. I'm gonna push it.
Push it
And
real good.
when I push it, I get 4. So
Nice.
glad I pushed
So
it.
you give yourself a headache and you get pretty angry with yourself for not getting this.
Ah,
So you grab the lantern so that you can see better, and then you look at it and you realize you've been holding it upside down. So you turn it around.
Common
Really
problem
angry with
Old
yourself.
Norse.
of course.
And now, of course, you can read it like nobody's business.
Mhm.
The Saga of Hakan Mooncursed.
Do it.
There are pieces missing, but the parts that are there. But the Jarl did not listen, and his men tried to take Hakan after he had been drinking with his men. But Hakan, warned of the Jarl's treachery, was not drunk, and nor were his men. They slew the Jarl's men, then went straight to the Longhouse and slew the Jarl. Hakan took the Jarl's daughter as his wife, and his men made him Jarl. And there's a piece missing. Harvest was lost. All that was left was raiding, but the hulls of all of Hakan's ship were rotten by some strange emanation in the water. Cursing the moon, Hakan decided to go see the vulva himself. Upon entering her hut, he recognized her, the first Jarl's wife, mother of his own wife. He remembered driving her out of the village after slaying her husband. She lifted her stick and made the sign of a curse with her fingers, whispering, "None of the 9 worlds will offer you peace." But Hakan drew his knife and killed her. Her blood dripped onto strange markings she had just carved into her hut's floor, but Hakan did not see this. He returned to his longhouse and, still in a rage, slew his own wife, swearing to end the Jarl's bloodline and end his curse. His amulet of Thor, which had been dotted with the vulva's blood, was ripped from around his neck by his wife and fell into her blood. When he bent to retrieve it, the powerful curse the vulva had prepared took effect. That night, Hakan suffered a horrible fever and dark nightmares. When dawn broke, he was dead, or at least he seemed so. His men prepared his funeral, loading a longship with his gold and weapons and the body of his dead wife. They set it adrift and set it on fire with arrows. Hakan burned and his ship sank, but still he did not die. Some nights later, by the light of the moon that had cursed him when he had slain his mother at his birth, Hakan walked out of the water into his village and slew every man, woman, child, and beast therein. It was hard work, several nights' work, but he slew them all. Then he built himself a throne amid all the carnage, in full view of the moon, and sat there, cursing every living thing. In time, a veritable castle of wood grew around him, the ground made fertile by all the blood. And there he sits to this day, on his throne of blood, in his fortification of trees, cursing the moon and all who live.
And after I get done reading that aloud to everybody, I think there's a real nice long silence.
Claudia breaks it with, Hakan, he cursed the family. I knew it.
Oh.
And then she wants to look at the piece of yellowed paper.
This grows more dire by the moment.
Look at the final piece of paper. It is a handwritten note. There's no explanation who wrote it. I will post these in the Google Doc during the break so you guys have them. Even the most diligent research didn't get me much on Hakan, but by my reckoning, he is Draugr, and I did find some information rituals that can be performed to banish Draugr. It would be wise to keep copies of these in case our understanding ever chafed. All I'm missing is the prayer. Banishing Hakan requires the blood of the person who cursed him. Under the light of the moon, the blood must be held by one who communes with spirits, much as the curse giver. Then a prayer to Odin must be recited within earshot of Hakan. Once the ritual is spoken, Hakan will fall into torpor. He must then have his head separated from his body by a silver axe. The head must be placed between his legs. Any who participate in this ritual must then place a tribute on his body, and the body must be burnt, as it would have been during his real funeral. His pyre must be under a vigil until the light of the moon disappears and the sun rises. Then he will be gone.
Fuck yeah.
I dare to say that our rituals are just beginning, everyone.
But we
Wish it
have
that
the map
way.
to where we need to go. We have the background on whose blood we need. And we have the ritual minus a prayer, which I'm pretty sure the father would be able to find.
I think I
And
could
an axe.
come up with something for the occasion. We also have the axe, yes. Well, we have the axe head. We kind of need a proper handle for it.
Wait,
You
don't
did
we-
ask someone, right?
Yes, we asked. Oh goodness, what's the
Krakauer.
Yeah,
name?
we
Krakauer,
commissioned it.
Krakauer.
Yeah.
Krakauer.
Don't we also have an old Mjolnir?
Yes, we do.
The
Um,
necklace
the
that
necklace.
was yep.
That was
yeah.
being worn by the
that-
berserker.
And
Oh, that
wasn't
was only the Berserkers one though.
No, wasn't there
Oh.
one found in an oilcloth in the library or in the study?
No, that was the axe head. I
Oh,
thought.
that was the axe head. That's right.
You did find one in Astrid's things at the very beginning.
That's right. I knew we found one
Okay.
and it was mentioned of something covered in blood. So we might already have the
And
blood.
Father Stanislav had a feeling that it was important, so you kept it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's it. Otherwise, we're gonna have to go on a little "Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego" hunt.
As you
And-
step out of the, sorry, we're about to go on break. Did you want to say something, Chad? I feel like I interrupted you there.
Oh no, nothing important.
As you emerge from the crypt, the sun finally begins to rise in the east. At first, it's nothing more than a smear of red on the horizon, as if from a careless painter's brush. Then the redness gives way to amber, then gold, and soon the forest is illuminated by a glorious sun god, rejoicing at the sight of all creation below. You sigh, bone tired and chilled to the core. The sun brings a measure of surcease from the cold, but you know now that you must travel even further north, even deeper into the dark primeval forest, further back into the ancient days. You must find a Khan and bring eternal rest to him.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun. And on that note, we will take a break. And when we return, I will have everyone tell people where they can find you. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Perfect. All right, let's take
Yeah.
a short break. Stick
Let's
around,
do it.
and we'll see you shortly.
Awesome.
Yeah, so whenever you're ready.
Hello and welcome back. I'll go ahead and start the introductions because, hey,
Yeah.
I'm Kristen. You can find me on the interwebs at Darcereelish in lots of all the places when I remember that I'm in more places than on Twitter. Also R&R Production on Twitter. Oh, hey, I actually have, I have commands. I have the power.
Commands.
Got the power.
We got our Twitter. And if you're interested in joining the Discord, we also have that, where we're actually got quite a lot of people in there, and we have some fun in there. So come and join us and be chaotic.
You can talk to all these cool people you're looking at right now.
Right? I'll do all of my end then stuff at the end. We'll go to Rob next.
Hi, I'm Rob, also known as Phantom NJ, Phantom NJ _D&D on Twitter. You can find me, well, here playing in various one-shots and short campaigns. I can also be found, quite a few Wednesday nights on Blue Box RPG doing Lore Masters Arcanum, either as a guest or even guest hosting. I also have my own stream, which is normally on Monday nights, except for this month. So that's Phantom NJ, and where I will also be doing some campaigns coming soon as I get the stuff I need put together. So more on that to come.
Beautiful.
Let's send it to Elias. So Kevin.
Oh yes, hello. Yeah, I'm Kevin, and I can be found online at Kevran Games. I'm here tonight, yes, playing Elias Johansen, your favorite haunted writer with a dog. I'm the Shaggy of this little R-rated Scooby-Doo team, and yes, I also, when I'm not here, I am the host of the Game Night Heroes podcast, which has had Kristen and Rob on it, and hopefully some of these other folks in the future. We'll see how that goes. But we don't ever play stories just like this. We come out every week. It's audio only, so come listen to us right now. Kristen's playing a really fun game where she's a burned spy trying to beat up some terrorists. Good stuff. I'm also a cast member of Murder Hobo Inc., which is a streaming show that is on, the game I'm in is on every other Saturday night, but we have stuff 3 or 4 nights a week. So come check us out, please. We'd love to have everybody come say hi. So.
Ooh, I got it right.
Ooh. We're batting 1,000.
And last but not least, Chad. Well, Chad and then Christian. Yeah.
Hello, it's me, Chad. I am on Twitter. On Twitter, you can call me Real CMG, as opposed to whoever the fake CMG is. You can observe me play a halfling divination wizard on the Beyond Saltmarsh campaign on Wednesday nights on the Superior Adventurers Guild Twitch channel at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this week, if I remember right, this week we're doing that on Wednesday, and then on Thursday I'll be streaming a kind of world building stream for my new game, which will officially be right here on this channel.
Ooh.
On Thursdays, but it'll be in June. We'll start. So stay tuned for more on that. But I'll have I have my own Twitch stream, which is North Shore DM, where you can find me there on Thursday, unless I'm remembering wrong, in which case it's flipped. We'll be doing Saltmarsh on Thursday, and I'll be doing that on Wednesday. There is some kind of thing, and maybe I'm remembering the wrong week. Who knows? It doesn't matter.
Hey, you know what? Go to all these places, whatever day of the week you want. We would love to have you all. So
somebody will be there to greet you and give you a gift basket.
Take your coat and get you going. Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent stuff. And I'm Christian at the Bleak Season on Twitter. I think the next thing I'm doing is here also playing Viking Death Squad with Kat
on the 30th.
Yeah, I certainly look forward to bring aboard my techno Viking inspired character and bust out some dance moves. All right.
Okay. All right. I love it.
I'm gonna bust out some dance moves that someone do you never seen. All right, enough of that silliness. So, having gathered your wits back about you, gathered your clues, you've gone back to the village where Krakauer, ever efficient, is waiting for you with a brand new hafted axe that he's managed to sort of put together. When you explain that you need to go to Narvik, he sighs. He goes, all right, and proceeds to get you on a coach and drive you to a nearest area where you can grab the train. You spend the night there, so you heal up your conditions and whatnot overnight, resting. And then you begin the long trip, 2-day trip, in fact, by train up north to the very small, very remote logging town of Narvik. On the train, you have the opportunity, if you wish, to spend some time chatting with each other and also trying to gain some advantage for the coming scene. So I will give you guys the floor.
Well,
Would
I
anyone
think-
like to start with? Yep.
Yeah, I think that as soon as we're on the train, we're ready. We're at the end of the first night, I guess we could say, when we're trying to get a little more calm, cool, and collected. When everybody starts to get tired from all the ordeals that we've been having, Father Stanislav will receive a knock on the door of his little. Are we in compartments? I shouldn't.
Yeah, you have. No, I would say that you're probably like 2x2 kind of thing with like little sleeping, little compartments that have like little beds with little doors. So I'm assuming you and Father would be sharing one, and
Yeah.
Arn and Katya, unless Katya would be determined to, have her own. But you have money from Bertel, so you can, rent whatever you need.
Do whatever we want.
That's right.
That's it.
Loaded.
Buying the whole train and make it rain. No, so whether or not it's me in the same compartment with him or not, I will approach the father and I will say to him that it's been a harrowing ordeal these past few days, and I'm not sure how this is done, but I believe I may have sinned.
He looks at him, and he looks at him with a kind of a curious gaze, and he says, "Marta, I mean, your wife, she loved you dearly. But of all the conversations we had, she never did tell me what your faith was. Or are you a believer?"
Well, when I was a child, I was always skeptical about things I couldn't see. So perhaps it's ironic, or perhaps even fate, that the things that I couldn't see found me, made me see them.
I like to think it is one of those mysteries. And occasionally mysteries are revealed to us, not necessarily in the way we wish. Would you like me to hear your confession, my friend?
Yeah, we're on this train for a while, I suppose. Well, it started when I was a boy. I would see things, terrible things, in my dreams. Creatures, I suppose you could say. It terrified me, to be honest. I brought it to my parents, and my mother and father were people of the old world, the old faith. They didn't exactly believe in things that could not be substantiated, but they did believe that what I explained to them dark creatures that their eyes bore right through you, even in your waking hours. They called them Vaesen, and I didn't understand what that meant, but they taught me a trick, a skill. They called it to cloak yourself, cloak your soul, and I would, for a long time, learn to ignore them, to think of other things, even in my dreams. And for a time, they were gone. I didn't see them anymore. But as I grew into manhood and both of my parents perished due to natural causes, um, those things found me in my dreams again. I did the only thing I thought best. I ran. I ran all the way to the western coast, and then I took a boat across the seas to different lands too. Funny enough, I believe I may have been in the same general area as our friend, the inspector, this New York, a strange land where things move way too fast for us here. But for a time, it seemed regular and fine. And under a pseudonym, I wrote stories, I guess you could say. Confessions, I would call them. I would find myself drifting off, and when I would awake, my writings would be what I had dreamed. And they, well, you can read them for yourself. They've been published, but I put myself through a university with some money from a man that I had befriended, an older gentleman who had no children of his own. And after that time, I did meet Marta, and she brought a light that was something she perhaps would never see with her eyes, as she was blinded. But my dreams found her too. And when the fugue states were too much for me to resist, one night I tried to distance myself from her as well. I tried to run away, and, well, I awoke, and something had ended the conversation for me. Whatever was in my dreams, those creatures, the things that I believe are plaguing this land, plaguing this girl that we try to help now, I believe they came from me. My writings, they've been made flesh. I can still see and speak to them if I want, and that's why I do not dream, because I do not allow myself to sleep. Please, Father, promise me as a man who believes in a God that you will not let me fall asleep. Please.
What happened to Marta, my friend?
To a casual observer, it would seem that a beast had attacked her, but I know better. It was the creatures that I created from my mind. They would not let me be free.
He looks at Elias with sadness, and it's only the fact that he's heard so many confessions over the years that allows him to remain stoic despite what he knows and what he's seen for himself. Um, there, there's sadness in his eyes. He says, "My friend, you've been carrying this burden for far too long. You've been running for most of your life. I would like you to consider that instead of running and hiding your soul, open it. Open it to God's love and God's mercy. and he will protect you. I will help you. I will be here with you. And we will find and we will defeat this evil that has taken so much from you, taken so much of your life, taken so much, it has robbed you of your childhood and everything you held dear. You did not bring this evil into this world. Evil existed. Evil has existed since the beginning of time. And it is only when we open ourselves and we, with true love and compassion and through our conviction, that we can find and beat back this evil, and we will do it. But first, I was going to absolve you of your sin, but I find no sin here. What I need from you is I need you to absolve yourself, because you carry guilt that should not be yours.
I will certainly try.
Father does a short prayer for him and with him, but he realizes that, yeah, there is not anything to absolve here.
Reginald, seeming to be in agreement with this, curls up at both of your feet and begins to snore profoundly, sleeping the sleep of the just and the unbothered conscience. Meanwhile, in the other wagon, populated by Arn, Katya, and
Sally.
Of course.
Sally.
Katya, after hearing everybody tell her that she levitated in the study, wants to try and levitate on her own.
Oh,
Oh boy.
nice.
Yeah.
So she just sits cross-legged in the middle of the floor, concentrating for hours, trying to levitate.
a couple of times the train hits a bump and she
Did I do it?
When she finally realizes that it can't be done, she's going to go ahead and do a seance and try and call Oscar's ghost to actually talk to him now that he's been freed.
as you're watching. Are you watching all of this, Arn?
Yep.
As she was sitting there trying real hard to levitate and not really sort of making it work, you could have sworn it was probably a trick of the light or a bump in the road, but you could have sworn that for a moment Sally levitated up above the seat, spun around, and then came back down.
Huh.
Love it.
That was the moment Arn started to decide drinking. Decided to start drinking. All right, so you're doing a seance.
Yep, I'm trying to call Oscar, and I got 2 successes.
Nice.
Is there anything I can help you with?
I'm just going to talk to Oscar and see what we might find there.
So you get yourself ready. You put out your little candles, your little things that you use to do this. You start calling on the spirits. Arn, you feel a sudden shiver run down your back. You remember an old saying that your grandmother used to say all the time. When you were a kid and you would have these, she would say that someone had just walked across your grave, and that's kind of the feeling that you get as that shiver comes. And she's calling out to Oscar, and you both sit there, and all you hear for a little while is the wind whistling outside and the ching 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 of the train. Nothing happens, and then suddenly, tickets.
I'll get up and go to the door. I'll
You open the door, you see
I'll like grab her ticket on the way by.
Kind of block the view.
Yeah, exactly.
when you open the door, you see the conductor there, standing there. He looks a little bit odd, like his clothes are kind of ill-fitting, like maybe they're a little too tight on his body or something like that. And he seems very familiar. A very stern-looking old man with a white mustache, and he seems you remember seeing the conductor on the way in, and that's not him. It certainly doesn't look like him. Can you give me an observation roll, let's say?
All right. And what skill does that pair with?
Empathy.
Empathy. All right. Yes. Appropriately, I have 3 successes.
Nice. You open the door and you remember right away where you saw this man before, and it was in a painting in Hellstrom House, up in the office of Magnus Hellstrom, where there was the painting of his father Per and the painting of his grandfather Oscar, and this man looks exactly like Oscar.
Yeah, I think I open the door, and I've got the tickets ready, and I look, and I kind of with the inspector's eye, I kind of take in everything, and I'm like, wait a minute. In my head, he's like, wait a minute. And then like realization kind of dawns, like in the movie version, like he's looking at the conductor, Oscar, and then we see Arn from Oscar's point of view, and then it focuses in on her in the background and then unfocuses back on Arn, and I just kind of look at the tickets and then open the door. Just kind of like sigh heavily, like okay.
What's going on in here?
And
Are
open
you
the
cooking
door.
food in here?
Well, I think just come on in. Somebody wants to talk to you.
Are you in need of some assistance?
Yes.
Yes. He walks in. Are you okay, miss?
Oh, yes. I was just trying to summon you, sir.
Summon me. Did you ring the bell? I didn't hear the bell. And there's a little bell in the corner where you can ring if you need service or something. He's like, I didn't hear the bell.
Come now, Oscar. We know it's you.
My name is not Oscar. My name is Gustav. Are you sure you're okay, young lady?
She would like to make an observation check herself to see if it's like a ghostly imprint over the actual conductor.
All right.
Ooh.
Go for it.
One success.
Well, one of the things you remember about the Revenant is that they are able to possess the bodies of other people, but you've disposed of the Revenant. So theoretically, that should not be what's happening. As you look at this man, it's very clear he is physically looks like Oscar. Like there's no superimposed image or enveloping image or anything like that. It clearly looks a lot like him. Now, is it him? Well, who knows? But it does look very much like him. He seems a little confused about sort of kind of what's going on. And even when he says, like, my name is Gustav, like, he didn't seem sure of that, as if just that moment he'd started doubting that.
She's gonna kind of walk towards him and do the head tilt creepy bullshit.
Have we met before?
Do you know your father?
Uh,
Oh God.
of course I do. Of course I do. What kind of question is that?
Well, you're the spitting image of the family Hellstrom who
Can't,
we are helping.
I don't believe I've ever heard of them. Are they nice people?
Well, most of them are dead, hence my confusion.
I don't know. I do I know them? Feeling a little lightheaded. Would you mind if I sat down for a moment?
Certainly. Go ahead. And she moves Sally from the spot where he's going to sit.
So as he goes to sit, you pick up Sally, and for like a split second, it's like Thor's hammer. Like you can't lift her for like one split second. But then, you're like, get here,
I shut the door.
Sally, behave.
It's like, oh, his headache.
You get them often.
Oh, once in a while,
She wants to make a medicine check on him.
Okay, go for it.
That is no successes, so she's gonna push it.
All right.
2 successes.
Sorry, how many?
2.
Okay, so you have a condition now as you're getting angry with yourself. So you check him out. He looks perfectly fine, except as you kind of lean in and kind of take a look, his eyes, if there's something wrong. In his eyes, you see yourself, but behind you, you see, instead of Arn and the rest of the wagon, in the reflection in his eyes, you see the graveyard where you were, and you see the tree in the background, the ravens kind of flying around it. And, so as you lean, his eyes kind of change and focus on you, and he's like, would you let me rest? And when he speaks, it's kind of, he opens his mouth, and the voice comes from like a million miles away underground. Like he's really trying hard to sort of speak, and he says in this sepulchral tone, like, won't you just let me rest?
I just want to ask you about Hakan and anything you may have left out of the things you left behind.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Is the hammer necklace that Astrid gave us, does that have the blood of Hakan's family on it?
Astrid. Do you know, I never met her.
She is a wonderful person, and you would be very proud.
I see her sometimes. She stares but does not see. But still, she sees much. I don't know. There's something. She's not alone. There's something with her. Oh, my poor Astrid, what? And like you see, like the body looks like it's going in shock. Like, he's like starting to shake, and like, you see the vein kind of going on his temple.
Be at peace, Oscar. I will not.
I can't. My family, what have I done? What have I done?
We will fix it for you. I promise.
He's shaking really badly, and like you can see that the body, is going into convulsions. Give me another medicine check. Whoever, do you both have medicine?
I do also have medicine.
All right, so one of you.
Oh, we also have the medical equipment, so that's a +2.
I will assist you.
So a +1 for that. Go make your roll +3 total.
I assist.
That's no successes on all of those dice, so I'm gonna
Oh
push it.
no.
If you push
my
it, you get a
goodness.
second one.
I know.
Oh no.
She's frightened that she has possibly killed this man. Much better, much better. That is 3 successes.
Okay, he's definitely having some sort of heart attack or something. There's nothing you know what to do about it. It's very clear to you that the strain of Oscar speaking through him and being in him and seeing all these memories and all these things Oscar is like really, really too much for this old man, whoever he is.
Send him away.
She'll lean out she'll make sure all the candles are blown out, roll them under the thing, and try and get them in her bag and open the door and yell out, "Doctor! We need a doctor!"
Oh, nice.
Just being in the room next door in the little camera as you've just finished your discussion, you hear Katya in the hallway yelling, "Doctor, we need a doctor, we need a doctor."
What now? Reginald jumps up and runs out of the booth before we do. Like, he's faster than us. But I'll get up to go after him, see what's going
No,
on.
not a dog, a doctor.
Not a dog door.
Pretty soon there's 4 of you plus the dog plus the conductor who's like quivering and shaking. And Father Stanislav, the second you walk in the room, you see it, you know what it is. This poor man is being possessed.
I didn't mean to. I just wanted
by
to
a
talk to the
spirit or
ghost.
ghost
I
of
didn't
some
know
sort.
he was gonna come through somebody else. Can you help, Father?
Yeah, he pulls out the Bible and goes to work.
You hear the voice, "You again."
Uh, he
I did
and
learn something though, so it was kind of worth
he's-
it.
He's lying on the floor.
He's sitting in one of the benches, and he's like, having a convulsion. And
Father Stanislav quickly moves between him, basically standing right in front of him, and puts the Bible up against his head and starts shouting, "Edicare, cadare et effugare ad ecclesia, ab animibus ad imaginum de condatitis ad pretioso divini agni seguene redemptis," and keeps repeating it over and over.
all right, give me a I guess it would be a manipulation roll.
Do you call him an animagus?
Yep, manipulation and empathy.
Might have called him an animaniac. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. What was the role?
Manipulation and empathy.
Manipulation.
Can I give him a bonus die by
Nice to
holding
start off with a 6.
him up and
Yeah, you're helping because you're trying to end your banishing and all that. So you can roll a bonus die for Katya.
Only 1 6.
Okay, well, 1 is all that you need. So as you do your incantation, your prayer for the exorcism of this poor man, and Katya is like undoing everything that she's done, you see the image of Oscar slowly sort of lifting off this man, and underneath you now see like the conductor as you originally saw him, and just moments before this apparition sort of lifts out and sort of disappears, you hear him say, "My granddaughter, save her, please." And he sort of dissipates, and the old man under starts calming down, and he's kind of still in shock, but he's not shaking anymore.
Katya leans down. "Gustav, are you okay? You started saying really weird things, and we weren't sure what was going on, and we tried to call for a doctor because you started to convulse. Are you okay?"
"Oh, this damn heartburn. I knew I shouldn't have eaten that kielbasa. Ugh.
I think it was the crowd.
Yeah.
Father Stanislav, they serve kielbasa on this train?
Yes, they do, but I can't recommend it. He looks up at the priest and goes, "Was I dying?"
He's
Yeah,
our
it
traveling
depends.
companion, and he heard the commotion that was being made, and he just came over to check on you to make sure you were okay.
But Father Stanislav looks at him and trying to like just play off what happened, gives him a little side grin. He says, "Only if you ate the last of the kielbasa, my son."
I'm sure there's more left. Just make sure you have some antacid ready because it's a hell of a number on me. He'll get up and be like, I'll come back for tickets then. And he sees Elias. He goes, "Oh, I know you. Yeah, I've read your books.
Thank you.
Very imaginative work. Very imaginative work. Very good, very good."
I
And
appreciate that. Thank you so much.
and like kind of shuffling a little bit, he's like, "Oh, I'll be back. I need some Alka-Seltzer. I'll be back for the tickets in a little bit."
I'm going to go invent Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah.
As soon as he
It's-
leaves, Katya will close the door. Astrid's in trouble. He senses something with her. Not someone, something. So we need foe. Definitely a foe. He says she's in danger. We need to wrap up everything with Hakan as fast as possible and get back and see what's happening to her.
And as you all prepare to sit down and finish the trip, Father Stanislav and Elias return to your bunk. Arn, you go to sit down, and as you do, you realize that Sally's now sitting in your place on the opposite bench from where she was earlier.
She must have got jostled in the commotion.
Of course.
Oh, come here, Sally. That's Arn's spot, and we like Arn. Be nice to Arn.
But I think perhaps Elias and the father will go and get some kielbasa. Make sure that we have an extra piece for Reginald. He's been a good boy. So
Reginald's been a very good boy, and you'll find all the kielbasa that you can handle in the
that's a heavy statement there. Now
That's
Challenge accepted.
That's
yes,
it.
sir.
whole lot of kielbasa.
Kielbasa, let's go.
Can I count my talk with Gustav?
Yeah, all of you
Gustavar?
can.
That's my
All of you
advantage.
can take an advantage, carry an advantage with you for your
that.
wonderful role play here and your adventures.
And I have a little something I would like to
Please.
embark on with Katya as well.
Nice.
Um,
As maybe as these two leave on their kielbasa quest, trademark
Great
pending.
kielbasa quest.
Kielbasa quest, trademark pending. That's my new
Episode
role-playing game.
title right there.
Yep.
That's like the story. It's like the story of my life.
What is this? My search history? What?
as they you should have used your VPN. As they leave and we get Sally back to her spot and kind of calm down a bit from this kerfuffle. Arn, he probably maybe sits kind of quiet for a while and just kind of thinks to himself, and eventually will kind of focus on Katya. Turn isn't the right word. They're obviously in benches facing each other. I've been on these trains before. But yeah, focuses on Katya and says, when what happened in the crypt? It looked
Well-
like there was something I couldn't see when I came in.
Yeah, Oscar God in my head, or the Revenant that was Oscar, whatever. I don't know. The occultists didn't prepare me for this. When I walked in, I saw it was my kitchen at my family's place, and my father was sitting at the table, and my dagger was just in my hand, and then I slit his throat because I'm, like 90% certain I did actually kill him, and I just don't remember it because I was taken over, probably possessed at that time, because I mean, when you come to covered in someone's blood, you kind of think that that's what happened.
Hmm.
But I mean, also the nursery rhyme that the Ravens taught me, Human Union, they told me that they told me to kill my father. So I mean,
Interesting. Fair. I've been,
my mother was right to be scared of me, is what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
hmm. 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 Yeah, Arn. Oh, man. Arn doesn't know how to really respond to this, I think. Obviously
Or
he
was it
was
me? Or was it whatever took me over?
right,
Or I don't know.
because Arn remembers investigating this and had determined that there was some odd stuff going on, and he concluded, according to my notes between the two of us, that you did not do it. And I think I would say, as the player of Arn, that was probably early in his career as a
Yeah, because she was
as a
like,
paranormal investigator,
yeah,
right?
it was like 5 years earlier, because
Yeah.
I said it was about 12 that happened. So
Yeah. And yeah.
are you scared of me now?
No. No. Yeah, I mean, with with the things I've seen in the meantime, there are so many questions for a man like me. I don't think you killed your father.
I wanted to. I mean, if he hit me a lot, he thought that it would make me listen, but
I think there is a this is a troubled road. I think perhaps there is an absolution in is there an absolution in possession? Maybe there's an absolution in possession. Like if your friends indeed did this for you,
It might have been Sally too, because she kind of has a mind of her own.
You know, I've been purposefully trying to ignore that. But perhaps you are correct. In this though vision in the crypt, was the spearhead there?
Oh, no, I used my knife. I don't. Could I do an observation roll to see if the spearhead was in the vision? Like thinking back on it.
Sorry, I was muted. You don't have to do a roll. You can clearly see it in your mind. It wasn't there.
No, I think it was more playing off my fears and could
Perhaps.
read that my biggest fear was that bastage.
Perhaps. Wow. Perhaps that's all it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it felt good to even pretend to kill him.
I'm sure it did.
But anyway, Sally, should we go get some kielbasa too?
Let's go find those two and get some kielbasas.
Kielbasa party.
Kielbasa party. And so, fortified by copious amounts of kielbasa, Oscar Mayer kielbasa, you you know, you kind of hesitate when you
just hurt my
Oscar
shoulder.
Dyer?
We took it down a couple notches there with that. No.
I was hoping for some Schwaggerts, but yeah.
That's a glorified hot dog.
So you travel a few days, exactly 1,381 kilometers. The train strikes an odd image, so advanced and technologically potent as it carries you north, further into the primeval forest, further into the dark realm of the ancient powers that once ruled this land. 2 days and nights aboard the train are a respite, and you can heal up all your conditions, a chance to salve your wounds, rest, and steel your minds for what is to come. You arrive at a small town and hire a coach. Krakauer drives the coach. He's with you still. You notice that he now has a double-barreled shotgun up with him on the front of the coach, and he's wrapped in some super heavy, thick furs. He's also acquired for you guys a very heavy winter gear, as where you're going is extremely cold. So you all kind of look like, you know, the Michelin Man with like the fur and the whole nine
Stay
yards.
Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's too warm for me to grab my hat, so
I feel that.
And you arrive in a small town of Narvik after several hours of riding on a back road on the coach. Between the cold, dark, and the apparently interminable rows of snow-covered spruce that line the rutted and frozen dirt track you're currently ruining your buttocks and backs on, you had begun to doze off. This, of course, set up an identically interminable chain reaction of dozing off, hitting a rut, bouncing and landing hard on your backsides, before dozing off again and starting the whole cycle over. Then you feel the coach come to a merciful stop. Outside, the air is frigid, so cold it hurts to breathe. Here, scattered amidst the spruce like tombstones through a sparse graveyard, are several small but cozy and warm-looking cottages, their wood and thatched roofs heavy with freshly fallen snow. You're currently at a three-way corner, right in the middle of which squats a rather optimistic two-floor inn. A sign proclaims it to be the Inn of the Nines, whatever that means. Smoke curls invitingly from the chimney, and warm light shines through the windows. A fiddle is playing inside, and you can hear the raucous, beer-soaked chants of several men and a few women's voices cutting in with laughter here and there. Further down the road, an old church in rather poor state stands vigil against the primitive darkness surrounding this village. And somewhere behind you, abutting the river, is an old sawmill, the one that likely kickstarted the Hellstrom family fortune. Though logging doesn't seem to be a major concern for the tiny hamlet anymore. Still, the people appear happy, the buildings appear well maintained, and that's always a good sign. Some prosperity out here in the most innocuous of places. What draws your attention, however, are a few faces that steal glances at you through the window. But you're busy looking for, yes, there it is, a red two-story building built on the edge of the frozen river. The walls are painted red, a red flaking and washed out by time in countless winters. Through one of the windows, you see a light burning. If you take a look at the map that I've placed on Owlbear, you will see a little rendition of the village of Narvik. You are at the little center point there. And over here is the Inn of the Nines. And over here is the old sawmill where the rivers meet.
Which building has that light in it?
The
red building.
The sawmill, you see, even
it's
from
the
where
sawmill.
you are, there's a light glowing inside the sawmill. You remember also all the images that you saw right in the tombstone, in the mausoleum with the circular saws and all the logs and all that. There seemed to have been some sort of obsession or fascination, at least that the Revenant had with the
And
place.
of course, we have our lovely graveyard.
Yeah.
There's always a graveyard. You're kind of, surprised. This place doesn't look run down. Like it looks, it's small and it's rural, but like I said, the buildings are all well maintained. People seem happy. There's a prosperity here that, to be honest, kind of surprises you, right? Because you would think that prosperity for this place would have come along with, whatever pact or deal Oskelstrom would have made. So you're kind of surprised to see that things appear to be going okay.
Somebody new made a pact with a con.
Well, I believe we should skip the cemetery this time. Let us make our way to the sawmill and see what is happening.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like we're pretty good at putting specters to rest. I kid.
You see that Elias sways on his feet for a second. He looks really, really tired.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'll be fine when we put this behind us.
Katya throws a snowball at him to make him cold and wake up.
Just right in the giant bag under your eye.
Father Stanislav picks up a snowball and throws it at Katya.
Katya picks up another one and gets in a snowball fight with Father Stanislav.
And Reginald
starts
starts going just back and forth trying to catch these snowballs like they're balls. He starts having a blast.
Katya laughs at him and gives Reginald a big hug and rolls in the snow with him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Elijah stands nearby, just kind of.
The one time everybody is all like, "Oh, maybe she is actually a child."
Father Stanislav looks at Katya rolling around with Reginald, looks at the snowball in his hand, and just looks it at Elias. Just...
I throw a snowball at Father Stanislav while he's contemplating who to throw it at.
Nice.
People that were staring at you through the window of the inn kind of shake their head, shrug, and go back to whatever they were doing.
It was
Weird. We've been to
light
America.
in this
Don't worry
darkness.
about it.
Right. We've been to America. In America, they have something called alligators.
Alligators.
I'm not
Alligators
worried
are
about
delicious.
As you throw snowballs at each other, Katya, you notice your two friends have arrived. Your two ravens, and they fly over the little village a little bit, cawing, and then eventually fly towards the old sawmill and sort of land on windowsills around the
I
place.
think the sawmill is where we should go. And she starts skipping that way.
I finished cleaning my glasses, returning them to my face. Come, Reginald.
As you approach the sawmill, you see around it, there's a lot of detritus around it. There are a few crashed boats sort of on the, old little fishing boats that have sort of been caught in the ice on the edge of it. The river itself seems to be fairly well frozen. There are bits of pieces of timber, tools sort of lying around. The building itself looks in a good state of repairs, though it's, it doesn't look like it's functioning right now or it's been functioning, but it certainly, looks like up until fairly recently, maybe a couple of years or something like that, it was still sort of functioning. You come around the front and you find yourself, as we see on the map here, at the entrance of the sawmill.
What would you say is the quality of the light that is coming from the sawmill?
It looks like probably a fireplace, perhaps.
Okay.
Like it's bigger than a lantern, and it's kind of got that flickering amber yellow light.
But it's not like the weird greenish light.
No.
Okay.
No, it looks like a normal
Just wanted
fire.
to make sure.
Little bit
We're
of
getting
smoke.
Like
into-
Claudia will walk up and knock on the door.
When you knock on the door,
Well, okay then. That was creepy. And
I
that's
think
coming
that-
from me.
I was
think
just
that
gonna
means-
say it. If she says it's creepy, it's gotta be creepy.
We are in trouble now.
You know,
Well,
just go back.
This has been fun. Time to pack it up and go home.
I guess we'll go to Oslo.
Anyway, I got a snowball.
not a snowball's chance in hell. You find yourself in a sort of entrance corridor. There's a bit more wear here as some of the planks are missing and you can see the snow underneath the building. But so there's the hall and there's a door on either side and one at the other end. And the door at the other end, underneath it, you can see that that's where the light's coming from, the room at the other end of this place.
Sally, do you think anybody's actually home?
Everyone
we
holds their
s-
breath to see if the doll's going to talk, but she doesn't say.
Do we, looking around, are there signs of, I guess, occupation, signs of passage at all? Like,
So
You
give
know,
me an
are there-
investigation.
all right.
And I kind of feel like your spyglass should give you investigation rather than learning bonus.
Oh,
Don't you feel?
Okay. I'm down with that.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So let's make it an investigation since you used that a lot more than the other one.
Yeah.
I keep on forgetting I should get another dice for my empathy for my raven necklace since I always have that one up since I never roll logic.
Oh, we know logic escapes you.
Maybe less escapes and more just ignored.
Yeah, exactly. Bypasses.
I
Yep,
have
yep.
a 1 in vigilance and 2 in logic. That is all that sits there.
Nice.
That's two successes.
As you pull out your trusty little magnifying glass and start scoping around the area, you can see a few different things. One, there are certainly booted steps that come and go through here. Sort of perhaps more alarmingly, there are signs of like people having been dragged along, and you see here and there some spots of blood in the area. And in fact, you see near the door, there's like a big chain and a big padlock that's there that's probably used to lock this place up, but it's kind of rusted. So it looks like it probably doesn't close properly. So they've kind of left it by the wayside or they don't care. They're not afraid, whatever it is. But there's clearly signs of
Well,
that.
that's
so your role
disconcerting.
is going to carry on throughout the rest of the place. Okay?
Okay.
Whenever you just want to check
I
something.
kind of hold my hand up a bit and turn to everybody and maybe like kind of put a hand out on Katya because she's a little in front and I say in a lower kind of tone, look, they've someone, whoever they bodies have been dragged here. This door has previously been locked with this chain, and he kind of like pats himself and like pulls his pistol out of his pocket a little bit and like looks at it and puts it back, and says, be wary, my friends.
course.
Where would you like to go next? So you have 3 doors, one on the left, one on the right, and one up ahead of you. Like I said, the light seems to be coming from the one up ahead.
Well, dare I say it, we head towards the light, friends.
You step down the corridor, careful not to step on the other steps or the blood, or also where there are planks missing, so on and so forth. You move through this, and all that's you can hear right now is the creaking of the water wheel that isn't turning, but is still kind of, and it's kind of making the place shake a little bit once in a while. And you do smell wood smoke sort of coming up ahead. And so you approach up to the door. When you open the door up front, you see another room. In this room, there's a fireplace that is burning up here in the far corner, though it is dying. There's a little stack of wood next to it, but it looks like it's probably in need of some refurbishing as it's kind of dying. It's getting quite cold in here. You can clearly see your breath coming out of your mouth. You see also on the table here over next to it, there are several things. There are maps of the area. There are notes, names that are crossed out. There are old it's basically old paperwork for the mill and so on and so forth, going back a few years. But there's a lantern nearby, and when you approach the lantern, it's off, but there's still kind of a little bit of warmth to it. So it was opened not too long ago, and you see a couple of plates with remnants of a meal, like maybe some chicken ribs or something like that on the thing, and a couple of bottles. It's pretty clear that there's fairly regularly someone in this room also, or that's that at least comes here to hang out here a little bit. There is a door to the south and one to the east after that. What would you like to do?
I'll listen at this door to the east, since it is in fact right there.
Fire off a observation roll.
Since I think he
Actually,
definitely-
sorry, make it a vigilance roll.
vigilance. Yeah. Vigilance and
Logic.
logic. Okay.
Yeah, you're good at that.
One success.
One success. You, on the other side, as you put your ear to the thing, you hear what sounds like perhaps sobbing and the sound of chains moving or some metal kind of scraping, and the occasional sort of sigh or sobbing or sound as if someone's in distress.
A motion perhaps for Stanislav and Elias to come up and maybe for Katya to step back a little bit. Oh man. Yeah. far be it from me to be the kind of person who doesn't kick in a door and then immediately ask somebody why they're crying. Yeah, I think yeah, I'm gonna try to open that door. It's a little brazen, but whatever.
In for a penny, in for a pound. All right.
So-
So
We're in a sawmill. It's not good.
you're
People
going
get cut
to
in
try to
half.
open the door. Katya, what will you be doing?
Katya kind of noticed him like do the hand signal back. So she'll walk back and check out where this bearskin rug is.
that's
Okay.
that's a different room.
Elias?
Elias does a couple of slow blinks, like maybe he was starting to distance out of this for a minute, but he will take the lead of the inspector. He pulls the knife that he is used to, and he creeps down the hallway to be next to the inspector. That way, when the inspector opens the door, he's ready as well.
And Father Stanislav.
Father Stanislav is going to follow Arn and just steel himself for whatever could possibly be behind door number, I guess, 1, depending on who's open first.
So you're going for this door, Father Stanislav? The door on the right, or are you
Um,
staying by Arn? I'm sorry,
I'm staying by Arn.
Okay.
Reginald will go with Katya, so she's not alone in the other room.
Okay. So we'll do Katya first. So Katya, you open the door to this room and you see it's like an old sort of a main area, perhaps, where people that worked here used to, take their lunch or sort of hang out. There's an old rotten bear pelt on the ground. There's a couple of heads of various animals stuffed and mounted on the walls around the place. The entire place has a sort of, kind of stench of death that's sort of permeating the place. And I would like you, while I go and take care of the other guys, I would like you to give me a vigilance check, if you would, whilst I go and deal with
With my mighty 3 dice.
Now, Reginald does give a bonus to vigilance. Is that just to me because I'm his own?
No, he would give it to her also. So
Yeah, you get a +1 vigilance when he's with you.
Nice.
Meanwhile, at the door is locked. You
Wow.
try to turn the handle and you see that it's locked. What would you like to do?
Well, I, as a licensed private investigator, have lock picks.
Oh, very nice.
Beautiful.
So I do believe lockpicks is stealth. So a stealth and precision roll, and you get the bonus for the lockpicks, which I think is 2.
Plus
actually.
1.
+1. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
And Katya, what did you get?
I did push it twice.
Twice.
Oh my goodness.
For 2
Back up to
successes.
Holy shit.
Back up to 2. So you're in -2 for your rolls from now on.
Yep.
Back up to 2 mental conditions. Katya's like, this is just normal for me.
He's afraid. Yeah, that's a big bear pelt. That is large. Oh, yes. I was really leery as to whether or not I would actually get a success on 4 dice with my track record, but I did in fact roll a 6, 2 3s, and a 2. So 1 success.
Perfect.
When I do lock picks, I have 8 dice to roll.
I don't have any skill in stealth.
So when you open the room, it's a large room. It looks to be like the room where they used to, saw down the logs, as there's a huge bed on the end with a huge circular saw blade embedded. And there's even a couple of logs kind of still on it. And there's an access for a crane to pick the logs out from the water and sort of bring them here to be cut. The other thing then that catches your eye as soon as you come in is that there are along the walls a number of metal rings that have been attached solidly into the walls with chains that come down, and there are a couple of buckets placed around. You see some dried blood on the ground, things of that nature, like liquids undistinguishable or whatever, on liquids that you don't know exactly whatever. There's stains on the floor and whatnot. And what really catches your attention is a man chained in one of these holding things, where he's sitting on the ground and his hands are up like this, chained up. He's beaten all to hell, but he looks like a man who's fairly well dressed. You can see still has like a fur jacket on. It's quite cold in here though, but he looks like someone fairly urbane. He's got like a very stylish kind of goatee and urbane kind of haircut and a nice suit that's now stained with his blood, and he's chained to the wall. Finally, the other thing that you notice is on the ground there seem to be several occult symbols painted on the floor of this place, several that you recognize, the triangles, the 9 marks, things like that, others that you don't know on the floor of this. And as you walk in, the man that's chained looks like, no, please don't, no more.
And I say, Doctor, it's okay.
How did you know I'm a doctor?
Well, it stands to reason.
It does?
Are you Dr. Hackison? I say, stepping into the room.
Yes. I'm Dr. Hackison. Who you? You're not from the village.
No.
We are in the employ of, oh shoot, what's her name?
Astrid Hellstrom.
Astrid, thank you. Of young Miss Hellstrom.
We were supposed to meet you a few days ago, and
you
didn't
never
showed.
I was. I thought Miss Hellstrom was in a sanitarium in some sort of distress. I was supposed to meet her.
Yes.
How did you get here?
I'm sorry. Are you here to hurt me or to liberate? Because these chains are very, very painful. I've been hanging here for a couple of days.
Elias will turn to Arn and say, "You're the one with the lock picks, Inspector."
Very well. I'll attempt to pick the locks on the manacles.
All right, give me that roll. Meanwhile, back in the other room, as you're kind of staring at one of these stuffed animal heads that appears to be trying to tell you something, you hear Reginald growling. And when you look over, you see he's staring at the window. He's at the window on the side there. He's got his legs up and he's looking out. He's like, "Arr."
I will go to him.
When you go to Reginald and look out the window, you see a number of men, perhaps as much as a dozen, are coming from the village. All of them are dressed fairly similar to the men that attacked you at Bertolt's office, with furs and leathers and trappings. They have axes and guns. They're holding up torches and lanterns as they're coming. At their head is another man who looks who's got very rich furs and like a wolf's head over his shoulder, and he's wearing very nice black leathers, and his hair is all nice and slicked back, and he looks to be fairly prosperous. You can see a lot of rings on his hand and whatnot. He's got a pistol on his belt, and there's about a dozen of them, and they're coming towards the sawmill. They're just coming up the road.
Katya's gonna make a run for Arn and be like, "We gotta shitload of company, and it don't look good.
So Aaron, as you're about ready to start lockpicking these things, Katya comes running in and says,
That
And then she kind of bats his hand away. Let me fucking do that.
in a very, I got a success, but yes, in a very Skyrim moment, I will break my lockpick.
So you break the lockpick, and thereby ensuring that even she can't go and
Oh, no.
so she starts trying to open it, and he's saying there's like, if they catch you, they're just gonna put you in chains and offer you up in sacrifice also. They've been sacrificing people. I think they mean to do the same with me. You have to get out of here. They're just gonna put you in chains here with me. Listen, I've been seeing a symbol in my dreams in our place. I've been investigating it. It brought me to Oscar Hellstrom's home, and then to here. There's something, an old logging camp north of here. That's where I was heading when they caught me. That's where you have to go. You have to get out of here. If they catch you, they're just going to do the same to you that they're about to do to me. You have to go. I think in the other room, I think there's a trap that you can go down under the building. I heard a few of them go down the other night.
Oh boy. Wow.
Have you seen them sacrifice anyone else?
I have not, but I know they're gearing up for it. When they caught me, they said just 8 more to go and we'll be set for this year.
So you don't know how painful it might be?
I have no clue, but it's not for a couple of nights yet. Maybe you can still come back and get me, but if they catch you here right now, they're for sure going to just chain you up with me. Just go and promise to come back.
Names of 9 in the book.
I would like to pull out my gun.
You pull out your gun successfully without hurting yourself.
Thank you. I'm glad you didn't make me
All
roll for it,
sixes.
because I
All
would
sixes.
have hurt myself. And
just go. Oh, Father.
there will be no
yes.
sacrifice here.
You're
And I
used to.
shoot the chains.
All right, if you shoot the chains, for sure they're gonna know you're here.
I know.
Go
I thought
right
about
ahead.
I really
Go right ahead.
yeah.
You roll
All
really
right, may your
bad, you
aim be
shoot
true.
and kill him.
Oops.
You know, my first response was to kill him, because if you kill
That's
the
actually-
hostage, if you
That's
kill the
actually why I was
hostage-
asking if he knew if it was going to hurt or not.
right? Yeah, there we go. 2 successes.
All right. So if you'll allow me, I will narrate the rest as we need to end. You shoot the chains. Outside, you hear people start screaming as they're approaching. You help the doctor up. He's very beaten and he's having a lot of difficulty sort of standing, but you kind of help him up. And as you're going, he says, I have to tell you something in case I don't make it. An old prayer that my father made me memorize when I was and then he passes out from the pain.
Oh no.
Dragging him.
Katya wants to yell to her friends and ask them to distract.
And as soon as you say that, the 2 birds take off, cawing, and take off, and you hear the men yell, and some men fire guns. And as you go into the other room, you find the trap he talked about, and with some help together, you managed to pull it off. It was frozen and kind of locked in place, but you managed to open it, and there's a little ladder that goes down onto the shore of the lake beneath. You start climbing down, being careful to lower the doctor very carefully down to one of the others, and you hear upstairs the men screaming and the guns firing, and their approach, and you can start hearing their feet on the flooring of the sawmill. And as the last person comes down onto the ice and you huddle there, one of you goes, "Where do we go now?" And as he says that, the ice under you cracks and gives way, and all of you fall into the frozen and frigid water, and the current drags you away. And that is where we would end this for tonight.
Oh man.
Well, that's a thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
Anyways, thank you for coming out and joining us tonight, everyone. Thank you to Christian for this awesome story and to our fellow players. We do have Rob having some visitors coming soon, so we're just going to go ahead and say, if you want to find us, check the Twitters, and thanks for coming out, and bye. We are going to raid. We're going to go raid Gnome Anne. She is doing some stuff with Monsters of the Multiverse tonight,
Ooh.
but she is also the creator of the Fur Bestiary, where she is making beasts out of Furbies, and I'm super excited for that to come out.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, players. Awesome night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you next week.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. That's how you end it.
That is a cliffhanger and a half.
That was juicy.
Yes.
I was just trying to get to that point. I was like, okay, we gotta get to the water thing, because that'd be a good. So that's why I was kind of driving it there at the end. And just wanted to